All right. Hey, thanks for checking out this week's Good Advice. Sending out a newsletter this week to talk about Elon Musk and his takeover of Twitter. You may have seen that as of today, he's thinking about charging $20 a month for creators to keep the blue check mark next to their name. Now, if you're not familiar with Twitter, you may not know this, but because there's a lot of impersonations that can happen on Twitter, once you are an authority figure, or really to show that you really are the person that you say you are, Twitter gives you a neat little blue check mark that says basically, hey, this really is the person sharing this information. You can trust the source. Well, over time, this has kind of become a little bit of a status symbol, but more importantly, it's added quite a bit of credibility to whoever is tweeting on Twitter. So naturally, I don't have a blue check mark, so this is news that's really outside of anything I would care about. But I do think it's pretty interesting from a business perspective. There's been all sorts of controversy around this change. People saying there's no way I would ever pay $20 a month. Other people saying, well, no, it's genius because, Twitter has to make money, which, by the way, I'd be curious what you think. But besides all of that, my take on it is this concept teaches us something very simple about business, and it's understanding how your business originally started and the original pull of your business. And so before we get to talking about this blue check mark, let's talk about another business that's been somewhat mired in controversy in the last couple of years, Netflix, a business that often gets mentioned for being the example of what to do versus what not to do. Netflix has been in hot water for constant price increases for their membership plans. In fact, we've begun seeing people use Netflix less and less, especially as a multitude of competitors have begun cropping up. Well, you may not have seen, but Netflix is floating the idea of bringing paid ads to your Netflix account. It's something else that might be kind of similar. It's kind of like when you turn on TV and you see something called commercials. So this is basically commercials that you would see on your Netflix account. And it's kind of ironic because one of the things that was so exciting about Netflix was that it didn't have commercials. It wasn't like cable TV. It was something that you could watch your show whenever you wanted to. And yet, as time has gone on, Netflix has begun to get away from the concept, the very business insight that really caused them to be popular in the first place. The same thing's happening with Twitter. It was a place for people to share their thoughts, their reactions, their takes on a variety of different things. And as you grew in your, I don't know if esteem is the right word, but definitely in your following, you'd eventually get that neat little blue check mark. Now that we're causing people to pay for it, now that you have to spend money to get that blue check mark, well, the meaning of the symbol kind of changes a little bit. And it's yet another example of a business that's getting away from what originally caused it to grow in the first place. It's news for all of us when we think about our own businesses, when we think about that sweet spot that's really caused us to grow and really capture the interest of our prospective customers. And no matter how much you innovate and develop your business, you never want to over-innovate where you get away from what you're simply known for. I'd be curious to see how this whole thing boils out, like what happens with all of this. And again, I'd love to know your thoughts on Twitter and this blue checkmark fiasco. Stay tuned. We'll have an episode on the podcast all about this. That's today's Good Advice. I'll catch you later.